Welcome back, everyone. It's Eric from Rare Candy. Here today we are back on PTCGO, taking a look at some more Darkness Ablaze decks. And today, as you can see, we have caught the bird flu. We are going to be playing around with Decidueye. This is going to be one of my more hyped one prize decks that are coming out of this set. And actually, if you guys need any cards to complete this deck or any others, you guys can head over to PTCGOstore.com. Use that coupon code RARECANDY at checkout. Save yourself some money on your order. And of course, our patrons also get an even bigger discount code of their own. But of course, getting back into the deck today, like I said, we are going to be checking out Decidueye. And Decidueye is kind of a hype card from the new Darkness Ablaze set because of this Deep Forest Camo ability. It's going to prevent all damage done to this by Pokemon V and GX, which is sick because that is most of the format. So yeah, fantastic ability. We've seen this time and time again throughout the years. I mean, this is on a stage 2, which is a little bit more annoying than something like the Hoopa from Shining Legends, which was just a basic, but nevertheless, the ability is still super good. I think we can get the Decidueye up and running pretty decently. It does have this splitting arrow attack as well for 90 and then 20 snipe to 2 Pokemon. It's kind of whatever. The damage almost doesn't really matter. As long as we can two-shot the different single prize attackers in the format, I think that's really all we can ask of this card. But looking at the rest of the list, we are choosing to actually play the Rowlet from Cosmic Eclipse. I've seen a lot of people play the one that can abuse like Bird Keeper. Honestly, I really don't like that one. If we are attacking with Rowlet, we're in a bad spot, I think. So I kind of just want to go in with this hide and seek attack, flip coin of heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So I think more often than not, being able to prevent the damage is going to be probably a little bit better than getting that 60 snipe. I could be wrong, but right now, like I said, if we're attacking with Rowlet, we're probably in a bad spot, and I'd prefer to kind of have a more defensive option at our disposal here. Looking at some of the other cards, we are playing the Scoop Up Net Engine to be able to abuse Jirachi, of course. Feather Wish is a fantastic ability, for stage 2 decks, being able to find those rare candies on the turns we need them, really important. But also we do play the one copy of Galarian Zigzagoon as well for that Headbutt Tantrum ability to place a damage counter on one of our opponent's Pokemon. So the reason I do like Zigzagoon is to help fix our math in a couple situations, because let's say we're playing against something like a Blacephalon deck. Easy example. They have 120 HP, so Decidueye is going to do 90 and then 20 on the bench. So we're probably going to hit them and get them up to 110 at some point. And Galarian Zigzagoon can sometimes come in and help us clean up those knockouts. Same thing for Volcanion and the different fire decks. Both those attackers in particular, I think, are going to be a pain for us. So we definitely need some ways at helping fix our math a little bit, make our attacks, be more efficient with our damage. So yeah, that's the main reason for the Zigzagoon that we have here. Looking at some of the other cards, of course, we have the 3 Lily's Pokédoll just to hide behind until our Decidueyes are ready to go. We want to deny as many prizes as possible, and Pokédoll is another way we can help get there. Really like Turffield in this deck as well. Definitely better than Evolution Incense because our only evolutions are grass anyways, and this effectively acts as a counter stadium for the deck. Rosa is another card that I am really excited to play in here. Big fan of Rosa. Just love the design of this card in general. Great for stage 2 decks. So of course, when something gets knocked out, we can play Rosa, get a Grass Energy, Decidueye, and a Rare Candy all in one go. So Rosa just seems like it makes sense here. But I think really a lot of this stuff is pretty standard, but the cards that might catch your eye here are going to be the copies of Big Charm and Weakness Guard Energy. So Decidueye, as you can tell, it struggles very heavily against single prize attackers. And we do have, I think, a few in the format that are kind of worth considering dealing with. So think of Blacephalon just as an easy example. We definitely want to show off our weakness against that. Make it a little bit harder for them to knock us out. But also think of something like Volcanion. If a lot of the Centiskorch lists are any indication, at least for the early days of the post-rotation format, looks like heavy Volcanion lines are sort of the go-to right now. And we definitely need a way at shutting off that weakness for our Decidueye, make them a little bit tankier against these different fire Pokemon. So that's the main reason for Weakness Guard here. And also we do have the 2 copies of Big Charm. Yeah, it kind of helps with those fire matchups as well, I guess. But really the reason we're playing this is to actually better deal with ADP, because a lot of the ADP lists for post-rotation, I am expecting to see, probably a copy of Duraludon. And Duraludon plus Altercation hits for 140, just enough to knock out our Decidueyes. and we have to two-shot their Duraludons. So if they get the first hit in on us without Big Charm, they're going to take up to 4 prizes probably before that one Duraludon goes down. So Big Charm, I think we really do need this to be able to deal with ADP. Not really many great outs otherwise. So these are sort of our tech options in the deck. These are the ones I am leaning on for the moment. And actually, guys, too, just a quick plug before we hop into some games. If you guys are interested in some more Decidueye lists, I actually wrote an entire article about Decidueye for our patrons at patreon.com/rarecandytcg. This is actually one of the lists pulled from that article, but if you guys want to see the other 2 different lists, definitely check that out. I will have a link down below in the description. But with that being said, guys, let's hop into some games and we'll see how the Decidueye is going to look, okay? Already playing its Hyper Silver 14, and we see the dreaded Volcanion coin. I mean, who knows? That might not tell us anything, but if this is a fire deck, yeah, this is going to be something we will actually probably have to work for, unfortunately. A lot of time with this deck, you get a lot of easy ones just because they realize they can't hit you, and then you're done for. And here we go. This is... we're in a bad spot. So they are playing Volcanion. So we'll definitely get down our doll here. Yeah, I mean, we just scoop up Net the Rowlet. And I think we just quick ball and get rid of Big Charm. I don't really think Big Charm is going to be worth much in this matchup just because they're either going to 2-shot us or 1-shot us as it is. I really don't think it's going to make a difference for the math. So then we'll just grab another Rowlet because we do have a Rosa and Marnie in hand already, so don't really need a Jirachi. Have both Dartrix, have our Ordinary Rod. We have all 4 Weakness Guard energy in the deck. That is a big thing to take note of. Yeah, it doesn't really look like anything too insane is prized. We did prize a Rowlet. We did prize 2 Jirachis, but that is all right. So we'll just bench our Rowlets here, and from there we're just going to pass. So more than likely they're going to Flare Starter though, and if that's the case, that will actually... Oh, okay, but here's a Welder. Hopefully they don't knock out our doll. That's kind of the big thing I want to avoid here. We just need kind of as many turns as possible to get set up. Here we see the Centiskorch. Yeah, Centiskorch not going to do too much against us, but the base Centiskorch V actually could be annoying because they can discard our energy. So that's something we might have to be on the lookout for. And yeah, they're just going to start putting on pressure. Yeah, that's pretty annoying, I do have to say. So this is a situation where, like, yeah, we could Rosa, but we don't have a Weakness Card energy. Well, I guess there is a world where we... This is tricky. Okay, so the big thing we want is an energy this turn. So I think what we'll actually do in this case, we'll get Grass Energy, Dull, because we want to hide for another turn. And then I think we'll actually just get a Rosa again here. Because no matter what, they're going to take a knockout. Well, we're getting the Dull, so we can't get the Rosa. But we have the Research for next turn, so I guess it's probably fine. And could go for a Rowlet or probably go for Dartrix here. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. The question is, do we stagger our energy on our non-Dartrix Pokemon? That's sort of the next question. So we definitely evolve, but do we get down the attachment? Like, do we think they have the boss's orders? That's kind of the next thing we have to ask. They've not played any Dedenes or anything like that. I think I'm actually going to get down our attachment here and just spread our resources out a little bit here. So sure, we'll do this, and we're just going to pass. Okay, so just another welder. That's kind of what I wanted to see. I was really scared of the boss orders. Kind of wish I would have had the grass energy on Dartrix, but again, it's getting a little greedy. And our opponent's still not taking a prize. That's like the one thing to kind of reiterate here. So if they're going to toss an Eldegoss, that's actually pretty big because once they've used their boss's orders, they're not going to be able to get that Eldegoss back and reuse that boss orders. Unless they play like Ordinary Rod or something, which I'm really not expecting. Alright, so yeah, our opponent's getting pretty well set up for what this matchup is. So I'll definitely promote the Rowlet. At worst case scenario, we can use Hide and Seek potentially. So sure, we'll get down Zigzagoon. Sure, we'll do this one. And then from there, we'll just research. Unfortunately, we did whiff. Okay, so what do we do? Like, I think we're going to have to just pivot into Stellar Wish this turn. And let them finally get a prize here, more than likely. Sure, I guess we'll go for Scoop Up Net. I don't hate that. And I think we'll just attach the Weakness Guard energy. I feel bad attaching the Weakness Guard energy to something that gets knocked out regardless of weakness. And then from there, we'll just pass. So hopefully, yet again, our opponent does not have boss orders. This was a big turn, I think, that we whiffed our Decidueye on. Because if we had the Decidueye, this actually would have been a really good turn because we have the Weakness Guard energy to go with it. Okay, but there's the VMAX. I'm actually totally cool with that. I'm more afraid of the Sense Scourge V because I'm pretty sure we only prevent damage, not effects of attacks. I'll have to double check that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the base form Sense Scourge V can actually discard our energy. So just kind of hoping that they hit us with a High Heat Blast, take a prize on Jirachi, and then from there we can start putting on some pressure because I think we're going to be in a decent spot once we start attacking with our Decidueyes here. And nice, that is a research. So I think we're good. Oh, they had boss's orders. That's really interesting. I'm really not sure why they wouldn't use the boss on either the Dartrix or the Rowlet. Very interesting. Yeah, I think that was a misplay from our opponent, if I do say so. So going for a Turbo Patch. This actually looks really familiar to the list that we posted for Sense Scourge on the channel. With the Turbo Patches, that's not an inclusion I've seen a lot of people really do. Okay, so now it's time to get things cooking over here. So we can go for Rosa. Go for our boy Decidueye. Grass energy, and I mean, what do we really want? I guess probably a supporter for the next turn, I would imagine. I guess we'll just go for a Marnie. All right, so yeah, just damage, not effects of attacks. Yeah, the base form Sense Scorch V could be actually a big pain for us. So I think we're kind of cool with the rest of our hand at this point. And actually we can get a double knockout next turn, if I'm not mistaken. Really not worried about the Sense Scourge, so we'll just put the damage on Heatran. Because next turn what we can do is we can Boss Orders up this one, Scoop Up Net, Zigzagoon, put another damage count out here, take a double knockout on both the Volcanions. So next turn we actually should have a pretty insane turn here. Okay, yeah, so just a 110, that's fine by me. So we can do this. We can pick up homie Zigzagoon here. And here we just get the victory screen, yeah. So, yeah, once we took out the Volcanions, not too much for our opponent to do at that point. So, Decidueye, you know, scraping together the dub here against the Sense Scourge deck. Okay, so we do lose the coin flip, which is, you know, not fun, but we can at least play a supporter turn one. Okay, so we do have Jirachi. We do have Quick Ball, so we can get ourselves a Rowlet as well with an attachment. And our opponent does have Mulligan, so let's see what we are going to be playing against. Okay, so it's a Tyrannus. So I feel pretty good about this matchup. You know, if they are playing one prizers, it's going to be Pokemon we can pretty easily deal with, I think, a lot of the time. So more than likely they're playing like 1 or 2 Hoopa or like 1 or 2 Spirit Tomb. And in all those cases, I feel really good about the spot that we'll be in here because none of them can really take a 1-hit knockout on us. Like they're going to have to trade 2-hit knockouts with us, but we just have more single prizers to do that than they do more than likely. Now, the one thing Eternus definitely has going for them is that they're probably going to be able to find Boss's Orders basically any turn that they want just because of how consistent their deck is with probably 4 Crobat V. So there's not going to be a whole lot of turns where we really have just like Rowlet sitting safe on the bench. Okay, so just pass over to us. That's fine. So what do we do? I mean, we definitely communicate the Decidueye away. Go for a Rowlet here. I don't really think we need Weakness Guard energy in this case. So we'll get down a Grass energy. Definitely prefer the Grass over Weakness Guard just because in case they play Dangerous Drill or like, you know, some way at discarding our special energies, rather just save the, make sure our attachment sticks in play. So here we're just gonna hit them with the Marnie. Hopefully they don't draw a Crobat V or anything like that. If you have a great hand ready to go for next turn, we just have to make sure they don't knock out this Rowlet. That's really the big thing we don't want to see. Here we'll go for the Rosa. Either way, Rosa is going to be a fine card next turn, basically no matter what. So here at this point, I think, I mean, do we get down the extra Jirachi? I'm going to say no. So we're just going to pass. So we just have to hope we don't get Marty and we don't get Boss's Orders off the bench. Those are the big things we don't want to see. Because this hand's like basically perfect as long as it doesn't get disrupted. Okay, so there is a Capture Energy. Now, there's just so many ways they can actually get a knockout on us. Oh, ooh, Absol. That actually could be kind of annoying. So Absol's hitting for, let's see, what, 90? Okay, and they have the Black Market. Black Market's also kind of a big deal, and they have the Research. That is great. So that's not Boss's Orders. That's not Marnie. We're pretty much chilling over here now. Let's see, Absol only has 100 HP. That's actually really good for our math too, because we can come in, get that 20 snipe, and then the 90 can clean up the knockout. And it looks like our opponent's playing Acrobike, so this does look like we are playing as a pre-rotation list here. We did see them get the Hoopa. Are they going to bench it? They might even be thinking about holding off from benching it just to like not allow us to get the chip damage in. That's a consideration. Also, just don't think Hoopa's probably that good in this matchup just because it's based on, its damage is based on the amount of abilities we have in play. And we're only going to have probably like 3 tops. There is a Zigzagoon. So we also have to hope they don't go like 3 Zigzagoons and a bunch of scoop up nets and knock out Rowlet, because that is actually a possibility here. Okay, so just a pass. So first we will Stutter Wish. Definitely going to get Turf Field. We really want to bump that black market. That's going to be a really good bump here. So we'll do that. Just grab a Dartrix in this case. I have to say, I feel like we're going to be in a good spot. I don't know, maybe they play something crazy in here that I'm not expecting, but right now I feel pretty good about the spot that we're in. And this is kind of how it is with this deck. Your early, like, couple turns, you're like really clenched tight, like waiting to see if you're just going to get benched or something. But once you get your Decidueye and a couple energy, you're good to go. So at this point, I think we're just going to go for the Splitting Arrow. Going to actually keep the Drachis off the bench. Yeah. So I really don't care about these other Pokemon they have in play. Like, yeah, they can scoop up net the Zigzagoons, but I really don't care about that. These are really the only threats realistically against our deck here, so. So they have the Eternatus, that's fine by me. Really not worried about that at this point. So here's the Hoopa. Hoopa, like I said, really not a big deal because Evil Admonition's 10 plus 20. Right now they're only hitting for 30, which feels really bad. Now, one thing that is annoying, they more than likely are playing like a heavy scoop up net engine, so they can probably actually pick up these damaged Pokemon at some point if they want to deny knockouts. So that is something we will have to kind of look out for. So they're going for another quick ball. Again, guys, I'm just trying to think of what they could be going for. Only other thing I could think of is like the new Hoopa from Darkness Ablaze would actually probably be their best attacker. That or Spiritomb. Those are the only things that can really put a dent in our Decidueyes. There is another Research. So we have not seen any boss's orders yet, so I imagine they probably have one in hand at this point, so we might actually have to go for the other Decidueye to prevent the Dartrix from getting knocked out. Not having a manual attachment for turn is something I am a little bit bummed about, though. So let's see, next turn they can hit us for another 50, but again, I think we're probably okay for the moment. So sure, we'll just do that. And I think we'll do... Really not worried about this Absol. It's already like set up to where Splitting Arrow can knock it out. So just want to pick off these Zigzagoons ideally before they get scoop up netted. Now again, the big thing we want to see at this point is going to be just manual attachments. Because I think these two Decidueyes actually can sort of go the distance for us. Another thing we do have to be concerned about, okay, there is the other Hoopa. So yeah, things are actually getting a little sketchy looking just because in this case, we're not hitting our manual attachments. We really need to top deck an energy here or a way to get an energy on this next turn. Okay, so there is... Now I think this one's weak to grass. Okay, yeah, so we actually can get a one-hit knockout on that one if we do want to. But yeah, the 90 is like perfect math for them. So that's a bit of a bummer. Okay, but at least we're starting to actually get get some cards to draw here. So definitely want to get Rowlet. Definitely want to get a Grass Energy for sure. And then from there, probably Erica's Hospitality, like, honestly. That or Marnie, maybe? Nah, I like the idea of Erica's. We'll do that. So we'll just do this. We'll preemptively grab a Decidueye, and then from there, I think we have to just pass over to our opponent, unfortunately. Yeah, because we don't want to put down these Jirachis. There's boss's orders, so that's definitely like slightly annoying for us. Hey, but that's okay. Our Decidueye, this is the guy that we actually would kind of prefer to be safe, to be honest. So we'll do this. We will Grass Energy, and could we go for Ordinary Rod? I don't hate that either. Let's see. Could go for Boss's Orders. I think I kind of like that. I kind of like that, or even wouldn't mind Zigzagoon. Let's see. This guy has what, 130? It's so annoying. But I guess we could still go for Zigzagoon because we'll put him up to 110. 2 scoop up nets knocks him out. So I don't hate that, honestly. I think it's probably important just to go for the... Let's go for Quick Ball here, I think. That way we can still have the option of grabbing the Zigzagoon on the following turn. So grab that, and from there I think we'll just go for the Splitting Arrow. So we'll just do 20 and 20, I suppose, on the Zigzagoon. Because we're going to one-shot this if they ever promote that, so that's not a big deal. So yeah, we'll just do this. So there's a Marnie. That's definitely a bummer. I actually really did like our hand. We hit Zigzagoon, but we don't have all of our scoop up nets that we kind of liked from before. One thing that is nice, we can still get our next Decidueye out of the deck with Turffield. But we don't have a manual attachment. That's really the big thing I'm not liking right now about the spot that we're in. Get Big Charm. Okay, this actually might make a difference. So they're hitting, what, 90 right now? That's annoying. Okay, so we can still get out another Decidueye. That's sort of the good part about this. This turn is definitely a lot weaker. Our opponent's definitely making us fight for this game, I will say that. Hmm. And just trying to think if there's... So I think we're actually just going to go ahead and take care of one of these Zigzagoons while we're at it. This is actually a pretty good turn. We're going to get 3 prizes. So I definitely like that. Another doll, that's good. Weakness card energy, that's good. We just need energy at this point to carry us through the game. How many energy have they used? That's another thing to consider. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I mean, if they have any more energy, they probably just have like 1, 2. Like, it can't be much. And here they do have it, which is super annoying for us, for sure. So I'll definitely just promote the doll here. Go for Turfield, just grab Dartrix. And I might even just go for Stellar Wish this turn. Like, I don't even hate that, to be honest. Because we basically have like 2 free prizes for them, and we can scoop up net one of these if we need to. Okay, so we do get Marnie, that's good. So we'll get that, we'll get down another doll, that seems okay. Big Charm. Marnie. And if we get scoop up now, we can actually deny this prize too. Okay, so that is definitely good. So we will bring back this Jirachi, promote our doll. And then from there, next turn, we can actually scoop up net this. Yeah, let's actually just go ahead and scoop up net this Zigzagoon as well. So no free prizes on the board for our opponent. How many switching cards have they used? There's another thing to consider. So 3 switches, 2 Hiding Darks. They probably don't play too much more than that. So honestly, if we gust something, we might be able to strand something in the active at this point, because they only have 7 cards left in deck. Which is kind of hard to put together exactly how many switching cards they have, but like worst case, okay, so they're just going to retreat, probably knock out the doll with Eternus. That's fine by me, don't really care. And there is a reset stamp, so that's actually a little bit annoying. Do hit boss's order, so it's not nothing, I suppose, but we can actually just put this doll back in deck and use Jirachi. That's a really good top deck, I will say. So we'll just go for, sure, Decidueye, that's fine. Yeah, I think we're going to Erica's Hospitality this turn if I do have to say so. Oof. Not the greatest of hands, though. Like, yeah, we have weakness card energy, but that doesn't really do anything for us, unfortunately. So we have 3 grass energy in the discard pile. I think we'll put down a Jirachi. I haven't seen Dangerous Drill from them, but sure. I'll get this down just in case, because I think Danger Shield gets rid of special energies, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Tool Special Energy. Or am I getting that confused with Faba? I think it gets rid of special energy, but that's fine. So we'll just do that. And actually, I'm cool if they get like a prize on this Jirachi. I really don't care, to be honest. I just really want a Thin to hit Grass Energy for this next turn. So Quick Ball, we could do that. Just get Research, that's fine. I don't mind, honestly, just dumping this whole hand. I think this one Decidueye is going to sort of carry us for the rest of the game. Okay, we have one Scoop Up Net left. That's also important to note. That means we have basically one more Stellar Wish we can try to use. But here we get the Heart from our opponent. Hopefully that's not something that they want to see. Like hopefully they're giving us a heart here. I don't know. Like maybe they recognize us or something. Not sure. But yeah, they didn't really have too much there too. Okay, and we top deck the Grass Energy. That's amazing. So we can just go Boss's Orders, bring up this guy, and then from here we can just go for the Splitting Arrow. Just do that, and sure, that's fine, I guess, because they can theoretically accelerate energy with this thing. So let's do that. Then next turn, if they don't Scoop Up Net this Zigzagoon, we can just maybe find our own Zigzagoon and then ping it, or just snipe it with our Decidueye, and that should be game. So this game was actually a lot closer than I would have liked it to have been. We were whiffing really hard on our manual attachments kind of there in the mid game, but okay, and here we're just gonna see the Research, so yeah, that must be game. But yeah, kind of where Decidueye can falter is if you fall behind on your attachment, since we don't really have any energy acceleration here. Yeah, they were almost able to claw their way back into it, but here we pulled out the win against Eternus VMAX, debatably the biggest new deck of the new set. Alrighty guys, that's going to wrap up our look at the Decidueye deck. I've been having a blast with this thing, and as you guys can see, if your opponent really doesn't have any good answers to deal with this, I mean, Decidueye is just going to shut them out of the game, and even still, a lot of the decks that have those answers, we also have our own responses to, in the form of Weakness Guard Energy and Big Charm. And I think that's really sort of the big, like, question mark still with this deck, is what are the counters that you're going to choose to counter Decidueye's counters? Like, how are you going to deal with the things like Duraludon, Blacephalon, Volcanic, etc.? I think that's really what's going to dictate the success of Decidueye. If you can successfully deal with those cards, Decidueye is in a great spot. And that's actually what my entire article I mentioned earlier in the video is about, that I posted for our Stage 2 patrons. The entire article goes over 3 different Decidueye lists, and each one has their own outs to dealing with those sorts of cards. So again, guys, if this is an archetype you are considering for the post-rotation format and you want some more content on this, definitely check us out over on Patreon. I have a link down below in the description. But that's going to be it today, guys. If you did like this video, of course, feel free to like and subscribe, and consider supporting us, like I mentioned, over on Patreon, or by picking up some merch, including our sweet Decidueye playmat that we have over at rarecandytcg.com. It would mean a lot. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.